Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good morning to everybody. COVID-19, yeah, everybody has different feelings about what's happening around COVID-19. And what I want to say today is, even though you haven't been affected with the virus, this COVID-19 coronavirus, if you haven't been physically affected, then you have digested the stress that comes with this COVID-19 virus. Stress that we haven't thought we haven't thought that we would be plagued with stress of this virus. Stress of not being able to go out in this beautiful, mashallah, days. First 2-3 days, very nice days. And I think it's hitting, if we look at the people that this stress and frustration hits the most, could be our people that has their living or their livelihood on a day-to-day basis. Those people, I was looking at, I was going to the shop yesterday to buy some essentials, and I was speaking to some car guard, and he says that this is his livelihood. He parks cars, and the day before that he was like arrested and assaulted because he didn't want to go home. And so some people find themselves between a rock and a hard place, that although the rules are stay inside, they also have to go out to get their livelihood, to get money. And some people only move and can only provide on a daily basis. Our vendors, our people that have this little shops, or what you call it, this informal trading, like the stalls is outside on the side of the roads. What does the people do in town center? How do they survive? All that stalls, that vegetable stalls and fruit stalls, how do they survive? How do they get their money? They've got families. There is just the stress that these people go through, but also dealing with that stress and also adhering to the laws and staying inside of and to prevent the virus of spreading. So our prayers is with those people that find that type of financial stress that they have to cope with, and but also have to adhere to the rules. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for them and bring them some other ways, because what we must remember is that before this COVID-19 virus hit South Africa and the world, the global community, is that whatever trial and tribulation comes with this COVID-19, that Allah has measured you out, and Allah will not give upon an individual that which he cannot bear. Your sustenance and your rizq is ultimately in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Allah closes one channel, Allah will open another channel for you to eat. And so we all have digested. And I'm looking at the children. It must be hard on them not going out. Like my children is going crazy. They going at each other already, because why? We don't live in big mansions where each one has their own room. We're all on top of each other. And so that also creates and builds up a type of stress in our children. It builds up a stress in us, because we continuously have to quiet them down. Ons moet hulle die hele tyd sê, bly stil en moenie aangaan nie, en moenie uitgaan nie, en moenie dit doen nie, en moenie daai doen nie. So it builds up stress in them also. And it's beautiful days outside, and it's a lovely days for being outside, but they can't go past the door because of this COVID-19 virus. And although we want to go out, but it's very dangerous to go out, because we might get infected, or we might be infected and not know and infect other people. So for the interest in the safekeeping of ourselves and the interest of humanity at large, it is much better to stay inside. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this period of isolation and social distancing easy on us, because we are already in a society where we are socially distanced from each other without the COVID-19 virus. We live in a digital world. We live in a world that we don't face to face speak to one another anymore. Everything is done on WhatsApp and Facebook and whatever. And so that kind of voluntary social distance is already there. And that distance our society, and now further we have to distance one another involuntary. And culturally, it's also difficult if you are in a culture that you, like in the Islamic culture, we shake hands when we meet one another. When we leave, we shake hands. We have mu'anaka, we love to hug one another. We love to display love and affection, through physical touching, by greeting one another, So the frustration that builds up with a grandfather that can't see his children, because of the virus. We can't visit one another anymore. The social distancing is affecting everybody. And as I said, if you are not affected by the virus, you are affected and you have digested the stress that is caused by this virus. We can't see our neighbors. We can't visit our neighbors. We can't visit friends and family. And the stress of blocking people that maybe not adhering and like innocently just come around to see how you are, blocking them at your door and telling them, listen, you can't come in. That is some frustration that builds up, and we have to explain and find beautiful ways to explain them the severity and the seriousness of this pandemic that is on our door. And so South Africa or the world is not prepared for a pandemic. Although we had over 100 years, there was this Spanish flu, or less than 100 years, the Spanish flu was there, and it wiped out thousands and thousands of people. But we haven't learned. The world is ready for war, physical war. Our armies has advanced, our national defense forces is advanced. The military can move at a rapid pace if they call on. And for warfare, we have invested so much money into new artillery and weapons and stuff like that, in warships and technology, and how to communicate faster and how to move faster and how internet can be faster. But there was little research placed into what if a pandemic breaks out? Do we have enough hospitals? Do we have enough trained staff? Is there enough nurses? Are they trained to deal with viruses that spread to touch, or airborne viruses, to physical contact or airborne viruses? Are we prepared for a onslaught of this nature? Are we conditioned to be isolated? Have the government, and not only our government, the government of the world, are we prepared? Have we done enough? Have we given out enough supplies, meaning basic supplies? Clearly, we can see that people still is opportunistic, because face masks. Now, the other day I saw at Brights, I saw that before the COVID-19 was 6 rand something a face mask. Now it's 49 rand. We still got individuals that capitalizing on selling face masks at 50 rand and 100 rand and 150 rand. Now you've got the Nike and I don't know what else. People capitalizing in the midst of a pandemic. And I think the reason why people is not adhering or not compassionate or not serious is because your mother never died. Your neighbor never died of this virus. Your child never contracted this virus. So it seems like something distant because why we are not afflicted with it. Like, like Qiyamah, like Judgment Day, it seems like something far that we can't see, but we know it's coming. So we ask our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to protect us, to put sabr in our hearts, patience in our hearts, to deal with the frustrations that this COVID-19 has brought with. And as I said, even though we are not infected or contracted the virus, we have most definitely on different levels, we have contracted, we have digested the stress that comes along with these viruses. And there might be financial difficulties on many people. And some people is insensitive to the financial difficulties and the financial stresses of other people because why they are not in that position. Please make your heart a little bit softer and put yours in the shoes of the people that only will be paying tomorrow or the day after that, of our pensioners that will receive their monies on the 1st, I think. And after they have received their monies, and there might be a day open, especially for them to collect their money, but after that, they also have to go into the shops and have to stand in long lines, and be exposed. And as we know, this COVID-19, the elderly is the most vulnerable. And so they also have to go out and get their groceries because they didn't have money before the lockdown. So what must they do? Law enforcement is closing non-essential shops, and even some mobiles like this tuck shops is being closed. And it's for a good reason, and these guys are doing their jobs. But in the same time, we have to deal with the frustration of not having the convenience of going to the mobile, to the tuck shop, to just buy something small that we don't want to go to the big supermarkets because we don't have real money to go to the supermarkets. So, yes, everybody's dealing with the frustration on a different level. And Allah be with those small businesses, and after this COVID-19 has passed, inshallah, after Allah has made a way for us, then I ask each and every South African, stop buying foreign products. Let us support our small businesses. Let us support our proud South African small businesses so that they can get on their feet again. Because why? The virus might be gone, but this might subside. And it's going to be a long time. It might subside, but the after effects of it will be felt for a long time. So in that period also that's coming, we have to stand together as one, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us safe and your family safe, and may we come out of this better South Africans, inshallah.